Welcome again to Buddha by the Bay. Tonight we have Adam Coots from across the bay in San Francisco, who kindly responded to my email and is popped by to discuss things Buddhistic. He comes from many traditions, like many Americans. He's sampled the spiritual supermarket and followed to the best of his ability. Teachers starting with Ryoshin Paul Haller, who is the abbot of San Francisco Zen Center, and Tenshin Reb Anderson, who was also the abbot of the San Francisco Zen Center, started by Suzuki Roshi. And he's also studied Vipassana with Gil Fronsdal at Spirit Rock and also Shinzen Young at Spirit Rock. He's been sitting for 18 years, and he's been teaching for the last 4 years. He doesn't belong to any particular lineage, but his friends asked him to teach, and he's happy to do it, to relieve suffering and bring more enlightenment to this world. So tonight we'll discuss a little bit about the 4 foundations of mindfulness and effort versus effortlessness. And I'd also like to remind everyone watching this, if you are a Buddhist or know somebody who knows something about Buddhism and would like to be on public access TV, anything taped here can be sent around the country or around the state to other television stations. So it's a great opportunity to spread the Dharma. And welcome tonight, Adam.
Thank you.
So happy
Pleasure
you
to
could
be
come.
here. Thank you. So I guess the first thing to talk about as a jumping off point for wherever this conversation takes us would be the 4 foundations of mindfulness. I think it's interesting. My understanding of the ancient Buddhist texts is that many of them don't really discuss meditation in the way that we think of it in the modern world. A lot of that has developed as an oral tradition or an informal tradition. And again, the oldest texts from about 2,500 years ago don't really mention mental cultivation in the same way that we would practice it in modern America. But one of the earliest texts that does is the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, which contains the 4 foundations of mindfulness, among other mental cultivations. And I think it's a very useful way of looking at a meditation curriculum for beginners, and I guess for people that have been practicing for a while as well. Interestingly, the 4 foundations of mindfulness do not include meditation on the breath, which is, say, the most common meditation in the Buddhist tradition, or in other traditions as well. I think the breath is sort of taken as a fundamental assumption before even embarking on the 4 foundations of mindfulness. I think of it as the 0 before getting to 1.
Well, many teachers say that as the breath goes, so goes the mind, or the breath is a reflection of the mind. Yeah, it's my understanding that most Buddhist breath meditations will talk about the natural breath, just allowing the breath to be. But there are definitely traditions, say in Thailand, of cultivating certain physical or mental states. And Tibetan yoga, many other yogas too.
Yeah, and pranayama in the Hindu tradition.
Right.
So there's different ways of meditating on the breath. I think if you go to a Goenka center, say the California Vipassana Center near Fresno, you meditate on the ring and the chamber of the nostrils. And that's what you would do, anapanasati, awareness of the in-breath and the out-breath.
Well, actually, once you've refined your awareness to the sensation around the nostrils, then you refine it even further to the sensation right in the middle of the
triangular area.
The triangular area in the upper lip.
Exactly.
And then, ideally, you keep focusing until it's laser sharp and ultra refined, and the whole purpose being to refine the mind and become very, very sensitive to the movement of the mind.
Exactly. In the Rinzai Zen tradition, it would be abhorrent to meditate anywhere else besides the hara, 2 or 3 finger widths below the navel, which is the idea is that that's kind of a power center and that develops sort of spiritual power. I think there's Tibetan traditions where the meditation on the breath is the whole body. So as you say, meditating on the breath, it cultivates a focus of mind. It's sort of an easy meditation for beginners to first notice how scattered the mind is and make some sort of effort to collect it, to focus it, to compose it on one simple object. I think the breath is a really great object of meditation because it doesn't cost anything. I mean, the poorest Indian villager can afford has a breath.
That's right, equal opportunity breath.
Yeah, I mean, even incense or a bell or a candle costs money. You never left it in your other pants.
There's no sectarianism to breath.
Right, exactly. It's sort of the meeting point between our inner world and our outer world.
It's not gender-based, race-based, politically based. It's just universal.
Indeed. There's a lot of positives to it. It both reflects our voluntary mind and our involuntary mind. It's something that conditions us and that we condition. So there's a lot of really great things about the breath as an object of meditation. And I think a lot of teachers will give it as a first meditation. And actually, I mean, there's people who meditate for 20 years just on the breath. I mean, I've been meditating for 18 years, and it's often the meditation that I do when I need a little focus. So once one is in relationship with the breath and is able to have some sort of coherent mindfulness with it, in the 4 foundations of mindfulness, the first step is body sensations. And with those, I'm sure you're aware there's different ways of working with that. You told me you have a background with Goenka, so you know the marching the awareness through the body.
Mm-hmm.
My teacher Shinzen Young uses a video metaphor, like movies. Like there's tilt and pan. That's the Goenka. You start at the top of the head, you bring the awareness through the body, and then back up through the body. So that's like
initially, anyway. There are further stages.
What happens after that?
Well, once you accomplish that, then you get the instruction for the next stage.
All right. I'll see what happens
Stay
when
tuned.
I get there.
Yes, you have to go up to the center in North Fork or wherever a 10-day meditation retreat is going on in the Uba Khin tradition or Burmese tradition.
Of which there's centers all over the world. I think a lot of people that go to India to study will do a 10-day with that lineage. And they're very, in my opinion, they're very sincere. It's by donation. It's a really great.
It's free.
Yeah.
It's free. It doesn't cost anything to do a 10-day meditation retreat, and old students, meaning students who've already experienced the benefit, pay for any new student unconditionally, not for any particular person, but for those who follow. So if you have 10 days and you want to learn to calm and focus and purify your mind and understand a baseline of what meditation is, and maybe even get enlightened, then I personally can't wish for anything better than for you to start with Vedana Vipassana in the Uba Khin tradition that Goenka teaches. And you can Google California Vipassana Center, and the main seat in America, I think, is in Shelburne Falls, Massachusetts. There's another tradition that many of Goenka's early students started in Barre, Massachusetts, or Barre, Massachusetts, and that is also a Vipassana center or insight meditation center.
Right. I think that they draw a lot from Ajahn Chah's Thai lineage, and so that's it. They would mostly work in a very different way. I mean, if you did a retreat with the Goenka people, they would warn you not to work in this way.
Right. But
I find it a very fruitful way, and I think a lot of American teachers, some of the more famous American teachers, Joseph Goldstein, Jack Kornfield, do teach this, and it's how I learned to work with the body. It's more...
it's at Spirit Rock in Marin County.
Yeah.